Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the kitchen here on Markelly Farm. It's raining pretty good outside, so we can't do much out there. It's really muddy, really wet, but it is melting a lot of the snow. But we're going to make something again in the kitchen. We're going to make lumpia. If you don't know what lumpia is, it's kind of like a Filipino type egg roll, maybe. Something similar to that, or kind of a rolled wonton. Really close to that. Super yummy. So let's get on it. So I got this recipe from a real nice Filipino lady at work. She used to bring these in all the time when we would have potlucks. Sometimes she would even make them there at work. She would bring all the stuff. But everybody was just falling in love with these things. So I convinced her one day to come over to the house, me and another guy from work that was interested in doing this. She showed us how to make them. We wrote down all the ingredients along with a lot of other Filipino food as well. But we really love the lumpia. So we'll show you how to make those. Thank you, Zany. Zany was her name. If you come across this video, really appreciate it. So in our bowl, we've started out with some of our ground pork sausage. It's already got a little flavor to it, but we're going to add to those flavors. We've put the equivalent of 2 cloves of minced garlic and 1 egg in there. We also need half of a small onion and half of a carrot minced. Instead of mincing them, I use my box grater with the finest grater side, and it saves a lot of work. You don't have to do a lot of knife work to mince those things. So the other things that we're adding is 1/8 of a cup of dry parsley. You could also use dry cilantro if you wanted. We're going to use 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and we're going to use probably about 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And then we're going to do about 3/4 of a teaspoon of sugar, and then 1/2 a tablespoon of soy sauce to give just a little bit of Asian flair to it. So we're going to put all that in here, and then we're going to mix that up really well. Got our mixture all put together. Now, here where we live, we can't get lumpia wrappers. They make actual lumpia wrappers. But we can get wonton wrappers, so that's what we have to use. I could not even find egg roll wrappers. But these will work in a pinch. They're very similar. Make sure you have some water. Now, normally lumpia is rolled up like a tiny burrito, similar to this, but the wrappers are a little bigger. But that's what they'll look like. This is more of a wonton style. This is how I'm going to do them because it's a lot easier to do with these smaller wrappers. It's not going to look like lumpia, but it's going to have all the taste and flavor of lumpia. So what you do is get you something that measures equally every measure. Put a little bit in the middle of your wonton wrapper. So you would take one of your wrappers out. See if I can grab one here. Put it in the middle of your plate. You want to wet 2 sides of it with your finger. Dip it in water. Put your filling in the middle, and then just wrap it over and seal it on 2 sides. So it's kind of a tedious process. So just sit down at the kitchen table and make them all up. I'll show you the easiest way I've found to make these is wet your 2 sides like this. Make sure you got it good and wet because that's your glue. And then we're going to get our amount of filling that we need. Not quite a full scoop of filling. And then I like to kind of make the filling out into the shape that it's going to be, which is kind of a half a triangle. Like that. That way you're not doing a lot of molding and stuff later. You can see that's kind of half a triangle, and we've left enough room to seal. So instead of folding this over, I bring this piece over like this, line up those corners, and then I can start pressing out the air. You want to get all the air out, and then use your fingers to seal up the edges just like that. I'll do another one for you. They don't take terribly long, but it's going to make a lot of them. Now, the original recipe called for double this amount, but I don't need that much, obviously. Just me and Kelly, and we're not doing this for a party or anything, so I cut everything in half. And then another key thing is when you're making these, you notice we're using raw meat. So say you're using egg roll wrappers, you don't want to make these so thick that the meat inside is not going to cook while it's frying, because that's what needs to happen. The length of time this thing spins in the fryer getting all golden brown and delicious, it's going to cook that meat on the inside of that. Just like it would a wonton if you were making wontons, which that's what these look like. Our 1 pound recipe made 40 of these lumpia. So we're going to get our oil heated up to 300 degrees, and we'll start frying these babies. Now, if you wanted to freeze them at this point, would be the perfect time to do it. Put that parchment on a cookie sheet, put them in your freezer just like they are. They'll freeze individually like that, and then once they're good and frozen, you would pull them off of the parchment paper, put them in a big Ziploc bag, and put them in the freezer, and then you could take out just as many as you want to thaw out and deep fry them for any type of meal that you want to do. Now, while your oil is heating up, you want to make your sauce. So in your sauce is 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of either cider vinegar or rice vinegar, salt and pepper, just a pinch of each, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of minced onion, and 2 cloves worth of crushed garlic. And then you want to get in here and give it a little stir, incorporate that sugar, and then your sauce is ready. Now, this sauce would be good on anything Asian. I would eat it on pot stickers, spring rolls, whatever would be fantastic. Now, the other sauce I really enjoy with this lumpia is soy sauce, or not soy sauce, but hoisin sauce. And I like hoisin sauce on just about everything too, including spring rolls and egg rolls and such. So our sauce is done. Let's see if our oil's heated up. All right, our oil came up to 300 and we started cooking our lumpia. You can put about 8 of them in the pan without overloading it too much. And 300, you'll know, is just a little bit low for frying, but we want these to fry really slow because we want that meat to cook inside that little pouch. And then we'll give these a flip after they're nice and golden brown on the one side, and then we'll get them out. We've got them flipped over, so we're frying them now on the other side, and we've been frying them for a little bit. You can tell when they're almost done is the frying slows down. When most of the moisture leaves the party, you're not going to get as much as the frying sound or the popping sound, because that's the water and the moisture coming out of the food into the oil. So as that slows down, you know you're reaching the point of being done. We broke one open. You can see the meat is completely done on the inside. So we're going to give it a taste test. Wow, that is so good. Brings back so many memories. I haven't actually made these since she showed me how to make them years ago. Probably 7, 8 years ago or more. So, fantastic. So let's try some with that dipping sauce on it. That is so amazing. I can't wait to eat a few more of these. So that's how you make them. Now, if you want to store these, once they cool off, don't throw them in a Ziploc bag because they'll just get mushy. If you have a brown paper bag, like a lunch bag, put them in that. Do the same thing with like fried chicken or any other fried food. Put it in a brown lunch bag. That lunch bag will soak up a little bit of the grease, but it'll let the food breathe to where it's not going to get mushy. It'll still keep a little bit of its crunch if you do that. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you try it as usual. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come back and see us here at Markelly Farm.